Brian, a lot of us like to give to charities, and many times we do it as a one-time occasion, but are there ways that I can give to a charity so that it's basically a gift that keeps on giving?
Absolutely, there are, and that's a great way to do it. I mean, when you think about your life and how many people have helped you through it, and you have these charities that you really feel closely to. I've mentioned Washington State University or your church, that kind of thing. It can be a great way, a great legacy to know that you're leaving money behind for generations to come. We've talked about this in other videos, a great gifting strategy for your children using a fixed index universal life, where after you've long passed, they're going to be getting monthly checks, income tax free in their retirement. What a great legacy to your kids. Well, similarly, we can use products or strategies for charities. The ones I want to talk about today are endowment funds and scholarship funds. The endowment funds, I would say, tend to be bigger, but what they're designed to do is you donate a large amount of money typically, and that charity is not going to spend it. It's not part of their general fund. They're going to invest it, and every year there's going to be, you'll have left behind some instruction as to how it's spent, whether a fixed percentage or maybe the income or up to the board. But anyway, so you'll have some fixed amount or whatever to come out of it and spend for some purpose. It could go into the general fund, or you could say, no, I want it to go to the football team, or I want it to go to the, to feed the homeless, or whatever you want. You can figure that out and put that in the instructions too. But the beauty of an endowment fund is that that's going to be giving, you can set it up during your lifetime, but often it's at your passing. That's going to be giving year after year after year. Often the principle is maintained in these things so that the earnings from it can generate gifts for years and years to come.
So it sounds like you can do this not only while you're living, but this is basically a gift that will keep on giving long after you're gone.
Absolutely, and that's really important for charities to be able to sustain, because it's hard on them to every year they have to have their their fundraising efforts and so forth. It can really make a huge difference if there's an endowment set up that they know they can count on certain amounts every single year, and often it's named after the family name or whoever set it up, and they can be remembered warmly in this regard for generations to come. Their story continues, their legacy continues, they're doing good to generations they haven't even met, and what a great way to do it. Another example would be through a scholarship fund. You can fund scholarship funds currently with new money now and make good use of that, or you can put enough away to where the earnings off of that will have a recurring scholarship, and that's a great way to help generations when you've succeeded yourself personally, to help those charities that you care fondly about.
Is it difficult or complex to set up an endowment or a scholarship fund?
It doesn't have to be. Most nonprofits will already have mechanisms to help you set that up. So no, it really doesn't. And as I mentioned earlier, often it's in a will, and it's money after you've passed. It's going to go to a particular nonprofit for the purpose of XYZ, and it's set up as a recurring gift year after year based on some percentage distribution.
Brian, can you give me an example of a client that you've helped with this strategy?
Well, I can't give you a client, but I can give you myself.
Oh.
So I remember I was going to Washington State University, and I walked down the hallways at Todd Hall and my business courses there, and I saw this flyer up on the wall, and it said there was a scholarship available. This couple had set it up, and they were still alive. They set up a recurring scholarship every year. And so I read that thing, and you had to write a paper about how you were going to be an entrepreneur someday. And I was thinking, oh, I got finals coming up, and I don't want to really write that paper, but boy, it's 2 years tuition. I better write this paper. So I spent a lot of time writing this paper. I had the guys on the dorm floor edit it, and the English majors and so forth. And of course, it was handwritten back then. And the day it was due, I turned it in. I said, boy, to the person that was there, I said, I'll bet a lot of people are applying for this. And she goes, well, as of right now, you're the second. And I said, well, aren't they they're giving 2 of these away? And she goes, yep, and I like your chances. So it turns out I got 2 years tuition paid for at Washington State University when I desperately needed the money. And the funny thing is, I employ 35 people now. I did become an entrepreneur. Those people got to read my paper. I don't know what I wrote. Hopefully it was good. It's good enough to to win, but that's not saying much since there were only 2 applicants. But it sure helped me, and I remember to this day the kindness of these folks that helped me out in my early years.
That's a great story, Brian. Thanks for sharing it with us.
You got it.